Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Now, there's only one place to start today, and that is the Euros 2022, because England absolutely hammered Norway on Monday night 8-0 at Brighton's Amex Stadium. Peter, what a wonderful result. And the odds for England to now win the tournament have been slashed from 4-1 to 3-1. The Lionesses are in the quarter-finals. Great result.
Yeah, it was. It was quite an achievement now to win 8-0. I thought it was going to even more. I think it was 7-0 at half time. Yeah, so I was thinking it could be double figures. But you're right, Betfred now have England equal favourites, joint favourites with France at 3-1 to win the Euros outright. Spain, who were the favourites, have slipped to 7-2. Germany 5-1 with Betfred. Sweden 13-2 and Holland 12-1. And England play Northern Ireland next on Friday. Northern Ireland are already out, having lost both their group games. Northern Ireland are 40-1 to beat England. Therefore England are 1-40, draw 14-1. And if you think it's going to be 8-0 again, well, that's 40-1 to go for the Lionesses to win 8-0 again. Just can't see that, but anyway, that's what the odds are at Betfred. So they did tremendously well. They've obviously got some great strikers. And they were able to dominate on Monday night, I should say. Yep,
certainly were. Quality in all areas of the pitch, and they've certainly sent a statement to the front runners in the competition. And I tell you what, in the Betfred Super League, it was a magic weekend last weekend, and the Warrington Wolves, they sent a statement out. They beat Catalan's Dragons to give themselves a real chance of pushing up the table. Peter, fantastic result for the Wire.
Yeah, it was. You've got to say that Catalans did have some injuries, but you know, in this elite sport of Super League, they're going to have lots of injuries. Every team's going to have injuries. I mean, Saints have got injuries as well, and to key players. So Warrington have now lost Widdop. He's got a shoulder injury, so that's a huge blow for them. But at long last, you do see signs that Daryl Powell has got it together at Warrington, and that they could mounts a late charge. The Betfred odds reflect that. We've got Warrington 25-1 to win the grand final at Old Trafford in September. Saints, huge favourites. They just pipped Wigan at the Magic Weekend, and that was probably the game of the weekend. Wigan's last gasp victory against Saints' last gasp victory against Wigan, second by against the odds victory of Warrington Wolves against Catalans. So the latest odds have Saints evens favourite to win the grand final outright. Wigan 7-2, Catalans 4-1. Now there's a team, Huddersfield. They're now third, having beaten Salford during the weekend. They're now third in the table and are now 10-1 to go right through. A lot of it at this time of the season, with 9 games to go of the regular season, is about momentum, and it's certainly with Huddersfield at the moment. In fact, it's Saints against Huddersfield in the next round of games at the weekend. So that'll be interesting to see whether they can put them back in the box. Toulouse 1,000-1. Salford, they're drifting out now 200-1. But they're the big movers. Warrington 25-1. That Daryl Powell is actually getting it together, and they're going to make this late surge up the table from, I think it's 7th or 8th position now to get to the top 6.
Well, there you go then, Warrington Wolves. A massive result for them at the Magic Weekend. But you take a look at the Huddersfield Giants, as Peter just said then. They are now at 10-1 to win the Betfred Super League. They're in a great run of form. Wimbledon has now ended. Novak Djokovic, the men's champion, once again. Fantastic player, Peter. What did you make of the competition as a whole?
Yeah, it was great. We got the British interest going until the semi-finals. I thought the final was a little bit of a damp squid, really. I thought that the Australian could have actually done a bit better there, losing 3-1 to you-know-who. But Cameron Norrie is well in there in the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. It didn't bring any disgrace to British tennis. In fact, he gave it a huge boost. And he's quite a laid-back sort of guy, isn't he? He's quite personable. Anyway, he's 8-1 at Betfred now. His second favourite for the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. Ronnie O'Sullivan the Betfred World Snooker Champion. He's still outright favourite, 3-1. Harry Kane, always one to watch in case England pull up the trees in Qatar. He's 9-1, and Tyson Fury 10-1. What would be interesting there is to see how the cricketers emerge, Johnny Bairstow and Joe Root, and also the English women footballers. They're the ones to watch for, because if they win the Euros, there'll be a lot of people looking to see who is the star performer, the captain, the top goal scorer, that kind of personality.
Yeah, certainly will be. Interesting times indeed. But just to recap, if you fancy Cameron Norrie, a Wimbledon semi-finalist, to win the BBC Sports Personality of the Year, he's now priced with Betfred at 8-1. Well, we're going to move into some political news now, because nominations for the next Conservative leader end today, and then voting starts tomorrow. And Peter, we now know that Ben Wallace has withdrawn. He's not going to be up for nomination. Can you tell us a bit about the reasons behind that?
Well, it's been said that he had huge talks with his family, and he decided to stick with his brief at the moment, which he's doing a grand job as Defence Secretary. I was surprised, because he was the favourite at Betfred to come right through, and he's very popular with the grassroots supporters. But he's probably the sort of guy who just doesn't want the hassle. He's just quite happy to be Defence Secretary. It's a pretty big job, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Particularly at the moment. So he just wants to keep it going, and maybe his time will come in the future. But Rishi Sunak is now the favourite. He's 2-1. Now he had a Swish video, and he'd clearly been plotting that for whilst he was still part of the government. So he has had some criticism for that. But it is getting quite nasty now, with all sorts of allegations about tax avoidance amongst the different candidates, and all sorts of stuff. All the skeletons are like being sort of linked to the media. So it's a great time to be a political journalist, I'll tell you that. And they're going to decide on who the new Prime Minister is on September the 5th. It's quite an elaborate process to get to that point. It involves how the nominations, as you say, have to be in today, and then the first round of votes takes place tomorrow, and they have to have 20 other MPs supporting them to get to that stage, and then they have one round of votes, and then they've got to have at least 30 votes to go through. Then they have another round, and then eventually it gets down to 2 candidates, and those 2 candidates go to the party as a whole, and all the Conservative Party members in the whole country, they then decide on who of those 2 becomes the next Prime Minister. So a lot of responsibilities for those people. Some people say they should just have a general election, but anyway, that's not going to happen. So as we said there, Rishi Sunak is the favourite at 2-1 with Betfred. And he's been seen from the left of the party, and then we've got Penny Mordaunt, 9-4, second favourite. Liz Truss, who is like the darling of the right, she's 7-2. Tom Tugendhat, he's 10-1. Jeremy Hunt, 33, and those are the highlights really. Grant Shapps, he's the Transport Minister, 100-1. To come through, and then we've even got betting on who's going to make the final 2, but they're not that different. It's just that we think that Rishi Sunak is 1-3, so odds on to get in that last 2 sort of final vote, because on his side of the political spectrum within the Conservatives, there's only really him. So anyway, he's 1-3 to get into the last 2.
Brilliant stuff. Well, there you have it. The claws are out. It's getting nasty, but the fact remains that Rishi Sunak is currently the favourite with Betfred to become the next Conservative leader. He is now priced at 2-1. Well, on a Friday Sports Talk, we talked about this competition giveaway that we've got for the Betfred World Match Play Darts taking place from this weekend going through to next week. And if you do want to get involved in that, we've got 7 pairs of tickets to give away, and all you have to do is like and share our posts on our social media channels, and then the lucky winners will be drawn live on Friday morning. Well, if you do fancy your punt on any of the upcoming sport fixtures, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online via their app.